Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Sunday afternoon about 3:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope everyone is doing well. It's been a hot minute since I did a video, so I wanted to do today's video du jour to support one of my favorite RPG designers, creators, and company, Low Fantasy Gaming, by Steven Gredzicki. I can never say his name right. Low Fantasy Gaming. First of all, the coolest. The coolest game logo in the industry. But more importantly, they've got a new Kickstarter going right now for Tales of Argosa, which is basically Low Fantasy Gaming 2.0. And Steve did a great job of polling the community on his Discord and saying, hey, what do you guys want to see in 2.0? What do you like? What do you don't like? These are the changes I'm thinking about. What do you think? And he's created some really neat threads. I'll try to put a link to an invite to his Discord channel in the notes. The doobly-doo, as I like to say. But Tales of Argosa is everything you love about Low Fantasy Gaming turned up a notch. Gone to 11 on the dial. It is sexy. You guys know that this is, if you've watched in my previous videos, you know I'm a big fan of Low Fantasy Gaming. They also make Low Life 2090, which in my opinion is the definitive cyberpunk type RPG. It's the mechanics they stay out of the way. The game is fun. It's fast. I mean, it's awesome. But we're not here to talk about Low Life. We're here to talk about Tales of Argosa. Yes, it's not out. It's in It's about to go to Kickstarter. I think it might actually. It is on Kickstarter because I did go and back it. The funding goals are very modest and very achievable. Even if you're a little tight on money, I think it's something you can do, and you'd really be helping an indie creator, a small-time publisher. And he has a full-time job. Him and his wife, they work hard just like we all do. So if you have it in your heart, you like what you see here, go to the Kickstarter. I'll put a link in the doobly-doo and support him because he's a great guy. I've done an interview with him. You can go back in the archives and check that out as well. This is version 4.4, I think, yeah, version 0.4 of the playtest. Playtest version 4 update since version 3. He goes in, I don't like reading PDFs, so I wasted a toner cartridge and I printed it in black and white. It printed really well. I just then took it to Kinko's and Kinko's, I'm showing my age here. I took it to the UPS store here in Duluth. Jay is the owner. He's phenomenal. He's a great guy, and he supports, he's actually a gamer himself, but he just doesn't get to game anymore because his personal life is so busy. But be that as it may, he always supports me, charges me a nominal fee to spiral bound these clear cover, black back, and yeah, I've got a book that I can lay flat and I can read. So first, what is Tales of Argosa? It is the love child of Low Fantasy Gaming and a bunch of other RPGs. A D20 system, roll under, so raising your stats and everything is a good thing, raising your skills. I would call it a minimalist system. There's not a ton of rules, but it does harken back to some OSRs where back in the day you would roll 3d6 for your attributes and you'd go straight down the line. You still do that here. 3d6, go straight down the line. The cool thing is if you have two stats, if you don't have at least 115 and 113 in your attributes, you can automatically take one of those attributes. So say you rolled a 3, you can bump that 3 up to a 13 and then bump another low stat up to a 15 if the rest of your numbers were pretty good. So you can kind of balance out, make your character, kind of tweak them the way you want. And then when you're all done with that, you can swap two numbers. So you can put them in a different spot to make, like, say you want to be a fighter and you only got a 12, you want to put that 15 in the 12. You can do that. For two stats, you just swap them. So the game is, and I went over the game mechanics and everything in my previous video when I was talking about Low Fantasy, but what I wanted to highlight here is the art. He's gotten some phenomenal artist. I'm sorry, my voice is a little hoarse because we had an epic session of Pathfinder 2nd Edition last night, and it was a really fun time. I dropped the orc down to 0 hit points, but of course he had orc ferocity and he got right back up. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Tales of Argosa, because again, love the cover. Oh God, I hope they do a full color cover. Although I will say, yeah, printing this out front and back, you know, 200 and something, 300, almost 300 pages is a little steep on your toner. It printed out so nice. I mean, this looks so good. The art is phenomenal. I just want to show off some of it. He got really great artists. Some of the art is placeholders. I really like the layout of the book. My favorite class is Monk. And so the art right there is just badass. I mean, and your monk attack bonuses. The other thing about Tales of Argosa Low Fantasy 2.0 is it only goes up to level 9. So not your traditional OSR or traditional D20 games where they go either from levels 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 or 1 to 12. I've seen a couple games do that. This one is 1 to 9. But low hit points. I mean, you're looking, your max level character will probably have around 40 to 50 hit points. After that, you know, so weapons do a lot of damage, spells do a lot of damage, but there's consequences. This is a game where you want to use your brains, not your brawn. You use your brains to get into a fight and fight to your strategy, fight to your tactics, force the enemy to fight your war. Because if you don't, you're going to be making a lot of characters. It is a brutal system, but there's special rules for retreating or chases. When you rout an enemy, you force them to flee. You know, if they fail a morale check and they run away, you can chase them down and kill them. You know, who knows, they may go get more bad guys and come back, and now they're fighting you on their war and you're in a losing battle. So there's a lot of really deep thought mechanics that make it fun to play. But the thing I want to stress is this is a brutal game. You're going to have character death. You can't be a very... You can be an adversarial GM, but I don't think it behooves you. This is a game about, you know, you're not heroes. You're not, you know, paladins out traveling the land, ridding the world of evil. Not to say that you can't play a game like that, because you totally can. You're adventurers. You're in this for coin, for the glory, for the prestige, or just bad guys wiped out your village and you want to go kick some ass and take some names. And that is really, that's how I view this game, is kick some ass and take some names. You are the biggest, baddest mofo on the field, and you're going to prove it. But you got to be smart about it, because if you just go in there starting a fight with everybody, you will die. But it gives you some great mechanics. There's tons of charts to roll on. Their deep and dark magic system, I think deep and dangerous or deep and dark, I can't remember, is amazing. So every time a caster, whether you be a cleric, a divine caster, shouldn't say cleric, a divine caster or an occultist that uses magic, every time you cast a spell, you have a chance where something can go wrong. And so what happens is that the first spell you cast, you'll get a die, a d20 or something you set off to the side, and basically you put it on a 1 for the first spell you cast. So as long as you don't roll a 1, you're fine. Your spell goes off, does whatever it needs to do. There's other factors involved in casting magic, but for the purposes of the dark and dangerous, I think it's dark and dangerous, and of course I didn't bookmark it, but yeah, the point is, every time you cast a spell before you take a rest, or you end your day's activities, that number goes up, it escalates. And so if you ever roll and you roll that number or less, bad things happen. And there's a chart you roll on, and it is some truly horrific things. Some things are just benign and weird, and you just have to deal with them. Other things are gruesome, and it is going to be the end of the world for you. But the classes are actually make a lot of sense. They're very well done. I want to see here. I got to put my cheaters on because I'm old. I'm wearing contacts, so my vision isn't that great. So your races are human, dwarf, elf, halfling, or half scorn. Half scorn is, boy, they're hard to describe. I would say half human, half lizard type critter. They're very awesome. They're very tough. They're very strong. They're their own race, unique to Tales of Argosa or Low Fantasy Gaming. And then once you have your race, then you choose a class. And your classes are, let's see if I can, Artificer, which is you make stuff. It's pretty cool. The Bard, buff and manipulate the battlefield and or your surroundings, as well as just a general hype man or woman. Fighter, Barbarian, Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Cultist, or Magic User. I believe your Cleric type character, your Divine Caster, is a Cultist. The gods in this game don't like you. They don't care about you. And, you know, they actually would probably prefer if you stop calling on them to help, you know, beg for them for casting spells. So there is deep and dark, dangerous, or dark and dangerous magic, and it will come to bite you in the end. So you want to be careful of that. There's a bunch of backgrounds, and as you build your characters, it's pretty random. You could go through and pick everything you want to make the perfect character, but the beauty in this system lies in the randomization of creating a character. When you create a character randomly, you're going to get a character that is unique to you, and it's going to be cool. The other neat thing about this system is, unlike, let's say, D&D and or Pathfinder, a natural 20 is not the only way to cause a crit. A lot of weapons have a critical effect on a 19 or 20. Again, amping up that damage. You don't have a lot of hit points in this game. There's not a lot of magical healing in this game. So taking a vicious wound to your arm, your sword arm, let's say you're right-handed, and you take a crippling wound to your right arm and it's down for 3 months, that puts a real hamper on the adventure. So again, go into combat smartly. Think about what you're doing. Have a game plan. Be able to retreat. I mean, running away and living to fight another day is the most valuable advice I can give you in this game. That's not to say that the GM or the adventurer is out to get you, but this game takes a certain reality into account that it's a dangerous world out there. There's magic users and crazy guys summoning, you know, demons. You know, the average man, you can't stand up to a demon. And you, as a hero, as a player, I shouldn't say hero, as an adventurer, are slightly above an average man, but not by much. And if that demon doesn't like you, he can, and you don't plan accordingly, you're going to go squat. But if you like that type of challenge, if you like that adversity and coming out and winning, and hopefully you have a GM that's descriptive and you have a fun time. Even if you don't, you're playing with the GM, it's a friend or someone new you've met. I've said this many, many times, there's no wrong way to game as long as everyone is having fun. So if you guys are kicking the door, kill the monsters, take their treasure, move on to the next dungeon, that's a viable playstyle in this game. Just be aware, you may be making more characters than you want to. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because to be honest, character creation in this game is fun. And I judge a large portion of my critique on how much I like a game by how enjoyable is the character creation process. And Tales of Argosa, or TOA, or TOA, has one of the most enjoyable character creations. My favorite of all time will always be Mutant Chronicles 2nd Edition. I love the life events and youth events and adolescent events and stuff like that. So this is, it's up there. I mean, it's really good. Plus, when you have a book that just has fantastic art, you know, I mean, look at that. I mean, does that not scream adventure? Of course it does. So, and it's black and white, and it just conveys so much. So, and again, the layout of the book is phenomenal. They just came out with version 5 of the playtest, which does some more tweaks, some spelling, and they added a couple of things, but it was mostly cleanup. They're in Kickstarter right now, so this book is pretty much ready to go. I don't think this would be a bad version. Like I said, I don't like reading PDFs, so I printed it. We're at, I think, 247 pages. That includes a comprehensive index, a table of contents, A nice little forward. What's, obviously a lot of this stuff like what's new in version 4, 4.0, that's not going to be in the finished book. There are also rune dice to go with this, special dice that are going to be funded hopefully through the Kickstarter, and then also a deck of cards for fate and different things. I don't know much about those because I haven't read up on them yet. Again, more phenomenal art. I mean, if that doesn't give you a sense of dread of some, magic necromancers or demonologists or whatever doing something wrong, I don't know what does. Again, there's a full list of monsters in here with stats and abilities. Healing and recovery gets its own section, of course. Healer's kits, other gear, sleep, and a long rest. You have to make, what's cool about taking a rest in this game is you make a willpower roll. And you gain 1 recovery benefit if you make 2 willpower checks. For each success, the PC gains 1 recovery benefit. And rerolls are available for these, and I'll get back to rerolls in a minute. But recovery, you get 4 options, and you get to, if you make your roll, if you make both rolls, you get to choose 2 of these. You can recover half of any lost hit points. If you choose this option twice, you recover a total of 3/4 of your lost hit points. So you can never, just by taking a short rest, you can never fully heal up. You're always going to be down some hit points. So again, that's the brutality of the game. You're always, you're stretching a dime into a dollar here. One of the other options is recover 1 use of an expended class ability. Every class has special abilities. Recover 1 reroll. You get X amount of rerolls. Humans start with 2. Pretty much everybody else starts with 1. There are ways to gain more. On a great success, recover 1 attribute point, including luck or excluding luck. And this is when I want to get to rerolls. In this game, you have a luck attribute, and whatever your luck is, your starting luck is, you fail a roll, say you fail this willpower roll, you can spend a point of luck permanently to re-roll that die and hopefully succeed. So at some point, it's a goal of diminishing returns. Your luck is going to run out, and when it does, you are totally at the whim of the fickle gods of dice, and let me tell you, they are not kind. So you got to choose when you're going to burn that luck. It is an option. Sleep, you generally restore 1 hit point. Lack of food and water can reduce that and everything. A long rest is pretty cool. A long rest, don't think D&D, because this ain't D&D, boys and girls. A long rest is 7 days. 7 days you're out of the adventure. You are doing nothing but eating, sleeping, drinking fluids, rehydrating, recuperating, having a doctor or a physician look over your wounds. You must be, a long rest grants you the following benefits. So you get all of these when you take 7 days off. All hit points are recovered. All expended class abilities are recovered. All expended rerolls are recovered. All attribute loss is recovered, excluding luck. Recover 1 point of luck. So that's the only way to get your luck back. But we all know you're going to burn luck way faster than you're going to recover it. And you're down for 7 days. And of course, you role play that out. You're not going to wait 7 days unless your group games every week, maybe. Healer's Kit will let you do certain things. Sorcery, spell casting, illusions, dark and dangerous magic. That's what DDM stands for. Sorry. And there's a DDM die. So, by the way, I should have mentioned this in the beginning. This is free to download. I'll put a link in the show notes for where you can download this. I believe it's on DriveThruRPG, and you can get it right now. And of course, if you go to the Low Fantasy Gaming Discord, which again I'm going to try to put an invite in there, you can as well, I think, get the link from there as well. So I'm going to try to include all of that in the show notes. Steve is just a super nice guy. He has supported the channel very well over the years. He's also a Patreon, but his fact that he's a patron in no means whatsoever influences my thoughts or opinions. If the game was garbage, I would tell you it's garbage. But I really dig it. I mean, another phenomenal piece of, I mean, I could spend this whole video just showing you cool art. He really got some amazing artists. There's black market trade. There's all kinds of goodies in here. We got a couple blank pages, but like I said, it printed out really well. I'm very happy with it. It's very readable, and this was just on a HP little multi-function printer, you know, black and white. So there's a full bestiary in here with some very nasty monsters. There's also rival adventurers, which the GM can use as NPCs or, you know, a party to oppose you, especially if you're on like an adventure or something, or it's a race to get something done. There's the lair treasure. There's a whole chart in here on how to do that. Potions. There's magic items. It's phenomenal. I highly, if you're looking, if you're tired of D&D, if you're burnt out on Pathfinder, if you're burnt out on GURPS, you're burnt out on Savage Worlds, and you want something that's maybe as easy or easier than Savage Worlds and not too terribly difficult to get into, please give Low Fantasy Gaming or Tales of Argosa a try. And like I said, this is free, and it's a 90, in my opinion, it's 99% complete. There's enough in here that you can use and run and play with. You might find some quibbles and some quabbles, but you can go on their Discord and you can ask questions, and Steve and the rest of the crew are really awesome about supporting it and answering questions. I know they're working on a Foundry VTT. They have a Foundry VTT for Low Fantasy Gaming, but I think that I don't know this for sure, don't quote me, but I think it's going to be updated to Tales of Argosa. But if you're gonna, you know, get a free game, I think what better way to support the company than buy physical products or PDF products. So you've got Tales of Argosa. You need some place to plant the game, unless you have your own realm that you've designed, which is totally awesome, and I support that 100%. But if you don't, Midlands, great book. Again, I've done a review on this. Go back in the archives and check it out. This is great. It's awesome. This is a chunky monkey. It will give you everything you need. Again, it's got amazing art. We're looking at 361 pages of content. There's maps in here. There's all kinds of good stuff. There's Vorngard. So that's one of the maps. You can see, I mean, there's things on races, the political structure, everything that's going on in here. I got my handy dandy Fate bookmark. So there's all kinds of good stuff in here and totally worth buying. And then if you don't want to go that route, if you don't want to, you have your own campaign world. Steve, I think, has put out 3 of these now. I only have the first one. I need to get the other 2. But right now, drive-through RPGs prices are through the roof. And so unfortunately, I just bought a house. So money's tight. Everybody knows how that goes. Adventure Framework Collection 1. And again, awesome logo on the back. Pickpocket Press is the company. Steve Gredzinski is the owner and designer and publisher. And this is an amazing book. Again, I bought this off a drive-through. It's just glued, you know, press bound. But it's amazing. This is nothing. This is one of my favorite adventures, Last of the Longbeards. Really good adventure. Especially if I'm a big dwarf fan. So if you're a huge dwarf fan, Last of the Longbeards, a really good adventure. This is just a giant book of adventures and campaign ideas is really all it is, and I highly, highly recommend it. So I think I've gushed on enough. I do want to state that there's a lot of turmoil going on at my work, a lot of stress involved. We've just went through a huge round of layoffs. 6% of the company got laid off. I kept my job. But it's a trying time at work, and I'm sure all of us working adults have been through something like this. I work in the oil industry and natural gas industry, and so it's always volatile. There's always some drama going on. But layoffs are a common thing, but I've never been in a position where I was worried about my job as much as I have been in the last month. So I apologize for the lack of content. For my Patreons, thank you so much. Your loyal support has really kept me going and made me, you know, get off my ass and put these videos out, because you guys are paying to see this content, and I do appreciate it. without you guys, I don't think I would continue doing this, because it's been a trial and it's been very tough. For those that don't know, my wife's health is bad, and my son is autistic, and so there's every day is a challenge. If you've dealt with autistic children or people, you know, they're prone to meltdowns and stuff like that. But my son is amazing. He's wonderful. He's learning. He's in kindergarten. He's doing so well. But, you know, every day is a challenge. You know, just doing something as simple as buttoning up your coat is a process. And so while you know, we have to deal with that because we chose to have a child and he just happened to be autistic, it doesn't change our love for him. He's an amazing kid. So we're blessed to have such a wonderful child, very loving and very caring. He just has his moments like we all do. But that being said, I'm going to strive to continue to put out some more content. I am going to follow Tales of Argosa very closely. Like I said, version 5 of the playtest came out, and I think that may be the last version. I'm not going to reprint it. What I might do is go through it and maybe print the pages that have changed and then just insert them in here, so that I have a more complete version, just because, like I said, this ate up a toner cartridge pretty good. It wasn't horrible, but it was pretty good. And toner's not cheap for everybody. It's a laser, so it's more affordable. Ink, I would never do this on an inkjet, but I know people that do. I can't afford that. But I'm going to follow Tales of Argosa pretty quick. I want to try and give it some more support. I want to look back at the VTT and perhaps maybe run a couple of one-shots with Steve's blessing, which I'm sure that won't be a problem. Jason Hobbs does Hobbs Gaming, Hobbs Corner or something like that. He does an awesome job. He's a great GM. He runs a lot of OSR type stuff. He's a big fan. And I know he's a fan of Tales of Argosa and Low Fantasy Gaming. In fact, he played in my Low Fantasy Gaming a couple of years ago when I ran it, and I really enjoyed him as a player. He was a lot of fun. So I've babbled enough about this, told you a little bit about why the videos have been a little few and far between. Hopefully I'm going to get back on that track. We do have some more stuff. I did pick up the Marvel Multiverse RPG. I will be reviewing that here real soon. I have the Pathfinder Bestiary for Core is coming out, and it's just going to be some minor tweaks and changes. They're changing names of certain monsters because they were OGL. So for those that don't know, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, due to the OGL debacle from WotC at the beginning of the year, or earlier, in late last year, early this year, they have decided to divest themselves from anything associated with WotC. So they've gone and recreated their core books, the core Pathfinder 2nd Edition, from one giant 600 and something page tome into two more manageable, about 300 and 400 page books, the player core and the GM core. And now the next book to come out is going to be the monster core. All your old books are still good. You can still use them. It's just you have to remember terms, and some things might change. Some of the math might have changed a little bit. They also took this opportunity to clean up some verbiage and some confusion about how certain things work. So I think if you're a Pathfinder fan and you're on the fence about whether or not to buy it, I say buy it. I'm going to do a new video on that too, to talk about the changes and everything. I know it's a little late, but I think some people are still confused. I know I'm still confused on exactly everything that's changed. So I think doing a video like that might help some people. So I think I've babbled on long enough. This video's going on 30 minutes, and I like to keep them kind of short. So I hope that gave you an insight into Tales of Argosa. I hope it has piqued your interest and you are curious about it. I'll put all the links down in the doobly-doo when this video is uploaded, and hopefully that will point you in the right direction. If you have any other questions or comments, as always, please put them down in the notes below the doobly-doo. I respond to everything as fast as I can, and YouTube loves to see the interaction between the YouTuber and its audience. So really help the channel out by, giving it a thumbs up, subs if you liked it. If you're not, if you really enjoy my content, Patreon is the way to go. Or if you don't like Patreon, up here is a link. You can go to Ko-Fi, Mr. Mean Speaks, ko-fi.com/Mr. Mean Speaks, and you can do a one-time donation. It's always appreciated. As always, peace and hair grease, and remember, Mr. Mean says to be nice. We're going to fade out to black. Everyone have a great day, and go to bed early. You lost an hour of sleep today.